better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. Nerdy D and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show. Casual Wrestling Show. We got opinions, we letting them know. Casual Wrestling Show. Hey, ain't no holding back.
What's up, guys? This is the Casual Wrestling Show with Mike and D. I am the official Casual YouTube ambassador for Friday Night SmackDown, Nerdy D. As always, joined by the co-host of the show, the official YouTube ambassador for Monday Night Raw's, the one, the only, Milwaukee Mike. Each and every week, we bring you fast-paced hot takes for your listening enjoyment. Today, we are going to touch on everything happening in pro wrestling, including making a casual wrestling top gimmicks list. But first, Mike, got a question for you.
What's up?
There's a lot going on with Becky Lynch right now. A lot of news swirling around, a lot of different people saying a lot of different things. What do you think the future looks like for Becky Lynch?
So the future for Becky Lynch, man, I think you really have to kind of dive into the logistics of things, right? I think it's been reported that, her contract ends on this Saturday. And you would expect AEW and WWE to be at the table. High money offers, I would imagine, as well. But at the end of the day, I think you have to really break it down, right? I think logistically, she's married to Seth Rollins. They have a child. I just don't see a world in which that she is going to a complete different company with a whole different schedule, with a whole different set of logistics that are just going to kind of really put that family in turmoil. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Money could definitely talk here. That is 100% possible. But in terms of me, her body of work is WWE. I think she's going to get a bag from the WWE. I think she can go down as the greatest woman to ever wrestle in WWE. And I think if she jumped to AEW, that taints that. And I don't think that's something that she would want to do at the end of the day. I think WWE has granted her a lot of things, right? She's met her husband. She's had a book. She's had a great woman's career. I think there's even more that she can do with this company. I just don't see her making the jump. Could be wrong, but I just don't see it.
There's zero chance. This is all gross overreaction from the internet. This is what the IWC does. Something happens, a little bit of information gets out, not the whole story, and the IWC goes completely apeshit. But I'm also going to blame Becky Lynch a little bit for this because of she is a theatrical person. She likes the bigger than life thing, and I think she saw the opportunity to really play this up and to cry and to drop little hints. She's not going to AEW. There's the support on her book from WWE, the amount of money and trust that they've put into her up until this point, there is no amount of money, barring like Tony Khan just doing something completely stupid, even though I still don't think she would do it. Right. There's just no amount of money that's going to turn her to ruin her legacy. But we knew this, Mike. We said this. This is the problem with the IWC. We talked about this right after WrestleMania. She was scheduled for a long vacation. We wanted her and Seth Rollins to go away for a little bit, take some time with Rue, spend some family time, and get right, come back, rejuvenated, new characters, all that stuff. And so we knew this was coming. What happened was Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley got injured. Liv Morgan kind of got put in the forefront of what's going on. And Triple H approached Becky Lynch and said, can you transition this thing? Can you help Liv? We can't just give Liv a title. They will eat her alive. So we need you to transition so that we can get the ball rolling on this other stuff. The tweet that she put out, Mike, where she goes to be continued, that's as simple as I'll be back at some point. Now, in what capacity that is, that's a good conversation, right? She may never be a full-time wrestler again. She's 37 years old. Her kid is getting older. There's nothing left for her to accomplish in pro wrestling. What you said is absolutely correct. There is an argument to be made that she is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And it's an easy argument to make. But if I don't think she's done. I don't think she's done. I think she comes back and she picks her spots. She can come back and help a Lyra Valkyria get over. She can come back and do something with Charlotte where they go after the moniker of best in the world. We may have seen the last title run from Becky Lynch we'll see for a long, long time, which is fine, right? She doesn't need that anymore. But I absolutely think that this is the theatrics of Becky Lynch, knowing I can play this up. I can make a story out of it. Look, right now, after Double or Nothing, I think there's a little bit of a battle for headlines. And I think with MJF signing with AEW, that this could be a ploy on Becky's part to kind of steal the narrative back for WWE when ultimately she resigns. And now it looks like, yeah, you got MJF, but we got Becky Lynch. And it makes it feel like a bigger deal than I think it ever actually was.
Sure. I agree with that completely. 100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about MJF then, since I kind of brought him up right there.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talking about MJF made a mistake. I want your opinion. Did MJF make a mistake signing or re-signing with AEW?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was the right move to make, and he made the smartest move. Listen, he could have came to WWE, sure. He could have got a nice little bag from WWE. He would never be a top guy in WWE. He may have one or two title runs, world title runs here, but that's all it ever would have been. In AEW, he is the guy. That is his company. He will run that company until he says, I'm done. And you've seen it with with the reaction from the crowd on Sunday. And 100% the correct move for him. Tony Khan is basically giving him the world. You can go out there with a hot mic. You can go out there. You'll have all the title runs that you need. You'll have the storylines. You'll have the merchandise. You'll have the publicity. You'll get the movies, which we already seen. He's already gotten into a movie. Everything's there for him. There's no reason for him to jump ship, come over here, where now he's going to be kind of a second fiddle. So correct move by MJF.
So I'm with you. We have to define what mistake is, because the IWC, and this is the WWE side, I think. This is that WWE side of the IWC where I think there were a lot of people wishfully thinking he would come to WWE. And when he didn't, now the excuses start. Now that he made a mistake. I'm 100% with you, but I'm going to play devil advocate just a little bit. 100%, sure. He's betting on himself with this move, right?
Yeah.
The numbers they're bleak in AEW. It does not look good. Double or Nothing, pay-per-view, AEW does those well. It's what happens in between the pay-per-views for AEW where things really get kind of messy. He's got to raise that number, Mike. That it's got to be more than 600,000, or else he completely ruins his stock. And you're right. Going to WWE, he's just another guy. I think he looked over and he goes, I'm going to bet on myself. I need to be the man. I need to steer the ship. In WWE, you have the current top guys, but you also have to look past that a generation and go, okay, Rhea Ripley is going to be the number one in WWE for a long time. Liv Morgan's not far behind if she gets the whole package together. Then you have Carmelo Hayes, you have Theory, and you have Braun Breaker and Dragunov. You have all these guys that, yeah, sure, MJF could assimilate, but I don't think he's better than all of them. I think he fits right in. What you said's 100% correct. In AEW, he's the guy. Here's the problem. He's the guy until the Young Bucks decide he's not. And that is my issue. If that needle starts to turn, and it's because of MJF, how long till they insert themselves into his stories? How long until they need to get in the front of that? Because they did it with CM Punk. And they've done it with other people. How long until they need to dip their toe in and they start going, we got to go over MJF? Hopefully somebody in that company like Tony Khan smart enough to go, you guys stay as far away from him as possible, but you would have thought that's what they would have done with CM Punk, right? You guys stay away, but they kept coming over to Collision. They kept doing what they do. MJF has the opportunity to put the company on his back, move the needle, and like you said, be the guy. But he also now has the opportunity. I say this for him and Mercedes Moné. This is put up or shut up time. The ratings don't look good pre-Double or Nothing. You'll get a little spike coming out of Double or Nothing, but what happens 4 or 5 weeks from now when it settles back into that 600 to 7,000 range and WWE looks over and goes, he doesn't move the needle. Like there's a part of me, Mike, that believes you said WWE would have gave him the bag. There's a part of me that believes that like Triple H's offer would have been, here's kind of equal money to what our lower top tier guys get. And then you can earn your way to WrestleMania and earn a bigger paycheck. But right now, your body of work that you have is not enough for me to justify backing a truck up when I've still got to pay Becky Lynch. I've still got to pay some of these other people whose contracts are coming up. You're just not proven, and your style isn't proven in WWE.
That makes sense. That's not a bad argument. I mean, I guess I didn't really think of like what the bag would actually look like, but that would make sense. I guess you have to kind of consider the comparisons within your company before you would 100%. Reach out to him. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I think we both would agree that WWE not signing him, it just business rolls on as usual.
Oh yeah.
AEW loses him, and I think that's it. I think that's the end. It's the nail in the coffin. So I'm glad he re-signed in AEW. Yeah. I think it balances the companies. I don't want AEW to fail, contrary to what everybody thinks we want. But I do want more MJF and less Young Bucks. That's what I want.
I 100%. That's a topic for a different day.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Mike. Third question here is, I didn't get to see this on TV. My TV cut off. So I had to go research what happened. I didn't even know this happened until a couple hours later. But now everybody's talking about, what do you make of this kiss between Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan?
Yeah, my TV cut out too. And that's
okay, so I'm not the only one.
No. That's a huge miss by the WWE for sure. But man, my first thought was, hey, what's Dom's wife doing? I mean, was this approved? I sure hope so, because if not, Dom's gonna be in a doghouse for a little bit. But so my mind starts rolling when I start kind of stepping back and looking at it. And this is setting up to kind of be kind of like a Edge and Matt Hardy kind of situation, but gender roles are reversed, right? We got Rhea and Liv, and Dom is now taking place of Lita, which it's hilarious, right? I'm curious to see, because obviously now there's going to be some tension within Judgment Day, right? You would expect that to kind of take place after this happens. Does she now come into the Judgment Day? We've seen these little vignettes of her kind of talking to everybody in the Judgment Day. You would assume that the next step is her kind of trying to get into the Judgment Day. I think with her getting into the Judgment Day, this is going to kind of run the stigma of, well, now she has help to win every match, which you seen last night. She got help to win that match. She got helped on Saturday to win that match. I think her prior title reign, she got helped a lot during that as well. That's kind of Liv's thing. So it's going to be interesting. One thing I will say, though, this is setting up to be Rhea Ripley, like just being God mode. I mean, my God.
Babyface Rhea Ripley.
You want to talk about an ultimate underdog when this match happens? I hope Liv has some thick skin, because I'm telling you right now, Rhea Ripley's going to come back as the biggest babyface maybe ever in history.
So that's kind of where I went with what I wrote down here, is that my fear in all of this, because it's a great story, great, good stuff going on. My fear is, I don't know that Liv Morgan can handle this. I don't know that she's ready. I said it earlier today. When you win a title, they put a microscope on you, right? Yeah. Everything you do is now under the lights of scrutiny. When you get put into this level of storytelling, it's a magnifying glass. Someone's following you, looking at everything you do. We've seen Dominic Mysterio can handle it. We know Rhea Ripley can handle it. I don't know how Liv Morgan plays into the totality of this story. This is setting up to be huge. This is going to be this is what last year's Bloodline stuff was. That's what this is going to be heading into SummerSlam. And it's interesting, right? Because I think this is kind of a test run for Liv Morgan from Triple H's perspective. You've got 2 months, because I'm assuming this happens at SummerSlam.
Right.
I'm assuming that the way I kind of mapped it out in my mind is, when we go to Scotland, it's going to be Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan. They match up size-wise. She's Irish, so she gets the Drew McIntyre, explosion of the crowd, and it's built to make Liv Morgan look like the bad guy. They're going to boo Liv Morgan based on who Lyra Valkyria is.
Right.
Then coming out of that, you get Money in the Bank, where the focus doesn't have to be on Liv. She doesn't even have to be part of that show now that we're doing like 5 matches on a premium live event. Right, so that sets up then SummerSlam being where all of this happens. Oh, that's a big stage, Mike. That's a big stage to put, like, that's a lot of trust to put into Liv Morgan. And are you telling me she beats Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam? Or does Rhea come back and just crush the dreams of Liv Morgan? What do you do?
That's the question, because if she beats Rhea Ripley, that's when you're really gonna have to figure out if she can handle this. You lose to Rhea Ripley, all good
back
in the
to
world,
normal.
everything's back. You beat Rhea Ripley, whoo, careful now.
My only other point I wanted to make on this topic is about 2 years ago, Mike, I went real hard at Dominic Mysterio. Went after.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is when all these TikTok people were telling me world champion in the next 3 years. That's what they told me.
Right.
We're 2 years removed from that, guys. He's a comedy bit. That's what he is. That's who Dominic, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's what I was saying 2 years ago is he's more Vicky Guerrero than he is Rey Mysterio. He's more of a support character, and he does it maybe better than anybody.
Sure.
But he's not benefiting from this story. He's man meat. That's all he is. And he's good at it. But I just wanted to kind of relay that, like, this was what I foresaw happening with Dominic. He was going to figure out that he can be comedic, that he's very good at this Santino Marella level of wrestling. Yeah. And that's where he's going to find comfortability. He's not going to be a world champion. It's not in the cards. When you start looking, we talked about it a second ago. Theory, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Dragunov, all these guys, those are the guys that are going to be world champions. Dom's going to make a great career for himself. It's just not going to be as a world champion, and I think this kind of shows that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I he has gotten better in the ring. He does
100%.
The match product is definitely better. But I agree with you. It's more of a comedic kind of. I can hang in the ring, but I can also hang outside in the back.
It's I don't, when I say that stuff, people overreact and they take offense to being like, that guy will never win a world title. That's not necessarily a negative, right? Talk about Chelsea Green. She'll probably never win a world title, but she's one of the people that I'm most excited to see when she comes on TV. You can, and honestly, it's kind of a better avenue to take because I think your job security is much better when you don't need to be a champion.
Absolutely.
So I'm not knocking Dominic by any means. I do think he's gotten way better in the ring. The more I see him, he's fit to be funny. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, Mike, it is time to make the casual list. This week we're doing top wrestling gimmicks. We got together beforehand to speed up the process a little bit. We dropped 4 names each, then kind of molded them together, brought in 2 more. We have a list of 10.
Yes.
So we're going to rattle off the 10, and then we'll rank them.
Sure.
Okay. So this is in no particular order. The 10 we have right now: The Godfather, Rhea Ripley, The Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Ultimate Warrior, Hurricane, Macho Man, Goldust, and Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
So we didn't talk about, are we going to go 10-1 or do you want to go 1-10?
Well, I think right off the bat, with number 1 is 100% solid in stone, right? We can agree with number 1, right?
Undertaker, right?
Undertaker,
okay,
for sure.
Just making sure we're on the same page. I think so. There's never been anybody better. I make the argument people don't love it. He wasn't the best wrestler.
No.
He had a ton of flaws in his game. He just had the most over gimmick of all time that people will argue him as the GOAT and ignore any flaw he ever had.
The thing with the Undertaker, and he said in many of his interviews, he learned over time to make his matches go slow. His movements were slow but impactful, and I think that's what carried him throughout his whole career. Every move that he made in the ring mattered.
That makes sense. And it also has to be said that he lived the gimmick.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, there's a lot of people who turn it off when they leave work. He lived it. That's why it was so effective.
100%.
All right, so then where do we go from there is the question. So
I think we'll probably go 8-2 then, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I think, for me, number 8 would probably be the Hurricane.
See, I didn't watch a ton of Hurricane, so I will defer to you on Hurricane.
Hurricane
I know he's a lot of people's favorite wrestler.
Hurricane, perfect correlation here. Hurricane was like the Dominic Mysterio back then.
Okay, that makes sense.
Comedic, could actually go in the ring a little bit. You know, got good camera time. So yeah, I think that's the good.
That
good
makes sense. Then I'm good with that. So that's one I'll defer to you on.
Yeah, so I'd say number 8, Hurricane.
So 2 people are getting left off this. It's gonna hurt some feelings.
Yeah.
All right, 7. Where are we going? I'm only gonna speak up if I disagree because you've got pretty solid here.
Okay. 7, I would probably go Goldust.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Goldust 7. I go Goldust 7. Yeah, I go Goldust 7.
Goldust is an interesting one.
He was ahead of his time back then.
100%.
I think he was ahead of his because the theatrics of the entrance. I think that kind of sexualization, kind of on the verge of is he straight, is he not? Like he was kind of pushing the limits, but he was kind of ahead of his time as well.
Yeah, I think if you showed some of these younger kids Goldust, they wouldn't know what to do.
Stuttering Goldust was just absolutely hilarious. That was just if you've never seen Stuttering, go YouTube it. You'll laugh your ass off.
Goldust. All right, so we've got 1 Undertaker, 8 Hurricane, 7 Goldust, 6.
6.
I could put Rhea Ripley here.
I was just thinking that.
I could put Rhea Ripley here. I know a lot of people aren't going to love the mommy gimmick, but the mommy gimmick is big. The mommy gimmick is a big deal.
She's had that gimmick going for about 2 years now. So it's when you get something going for 2 years and it's still hot, that's a gimmick, and you're working it well. So yeah, I'd agree with you. I'd put her there.
All right. So then we have. I lost my TV. It finally went out.
Okay.
So now I'm rolling blind here, Mike. I'm going to trust in you.
I got you. So we're at 5 now.
Okay.
And I think 5 and 4 are going to be, they could be interchangeable, right? I think 5 and 4 are going to be between Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
I would say I'd probably go 5 Macho Man, 4 Ultimate Warrior. I think Ultimate Warrior's.
Now, what was I don't know a lot about Warrior either. What was the gimmick with Warrior? Just crazy motherfucker?
Crazy, strong, athletic, just kind of a freak. Just kind of a natural freak.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think he had more impactful moments. You could say the same for Macho. That's why I said they're interchangeable.
Gotcha. I'm not mad at that so far.
Yeah. So I'd go 5 Macho Man, 4 Ultimate Warrior.
Okay, so now we've got 2 spots left.
Ooh.
Mike, you can't leave The Godfather off this list, Mike. You can't leave The Godfather off this list, Mike.
Oh, we might have to, man. We might have to. Based on who we got left on the list here.
So we've got Kane's got to go on the list.
I think Kane's got to go on the list.
What else do we? Bray Wyatt's got to go on the list. Mike.
Shit. Mankind's got to go on the list.
Mankind's got to go on the list. Mike.
All right. So we gotta take somebody off here. I think the Hurricanes gotta get kicked a little. Okay. Hurricanes gotta get kicked.
Okay.
Move everybody down.
Okay.
So then 4. I think we go Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
3. I'd probably go Mankind.
And Kane too. Let me look at this. I've got it in front of me. Taker, Kane, Mankind, Bray Wyatt, Warrior, Macho Man, Rhea, Goldust. Not mad at it. I like it.
I'm not mad at it.
I like it.
I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
I'm deferring on this one because I don't have a lot of time with like Macho Man and Warrior.
You know what? F it. Godfather, number 8.
Oh,
Godfather number 8. Godfather number 8. You gotta get the whole train on there.
You have to,
Gotta
Mike.
get 'em in.
We're talking gimmick, and that was the gimmick. That was
the gimmick.
That's what got like my dad into wrestling was the Godfather. That's all he talked about.
I remember going to events as a kid, man, and when that music hit,
train.
You're like, holy! I'm about to see something that I don't normally see. I
shouldn't be watching this.
I shouldn't be seeing this. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yeah, number 8. I'd put him in number 8.
All right, so that knocks Goldust off.
It does.
Taker, Kane, Mankind, Bray Wyatt, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Rhea Ripley, and Godfather. I appreciate you bringing Godfather into this, though.
Man.
That was the one that I brought to the show that I thought had to be on there.
I got you. Yeah, he's got to be on. He's got to be on there.
All right, this has been another episode of the Casual Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord, and follow us on social media. Before we get out of here, Mike, it is time for one last take. I believe I am first this week.
Yes. All
right, got it written down here. IWC, stop saying that AEW is where the best wrestle. I saw the clips from Double or Nothing, okay? Mercedes Moné finisher is complete garbage. Will Ospreay attempted to kill himself again after some dude named, what's this dude's name? Mike Bennett tried to pull a top dollar and just completely missed going over the top rope. Edge tried to jump off the top of a cage and remove both of his fucking knees by jumping. What was he doing landing on his feet? And then you have Big Bill, who tried to go not through the middle of a table, but through the legs of a table and impale them through his chest. Like, this is not where the best wrestle, guys. This is Nitro Circus. This is Jackass now. And that's okay. It's fun to watch, but we got to stop using the moniker of this is where the best wrestle, right? You set Jack Perry on fire. We're just, this is not wrestling anymore. And when last thing here, MJF and Mercedes Moné, the two saving graces of AEW, what'd they do, Mike? They talked about WWE.
Yeah.
Just like, just let it go, guys. Just be AEW and it's okay. What you got for me?
So Saturday marked our first PLE that we've had maybe in 3 years that was not touched by the bloodline. I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how the impact of the bloodline has made on these PLEs. Now, obviously with the Solo taking over, with Tamatonga's brother, I'm assuming Jay comes back. I'm assuming Jimmy comes back, Roman, everybody. So we'll get them back on the PLEs. But I want you to remember when this thing is over with, which, I think we've probably got another year or two left. But when it's over with, you got to really remember, this was the golden era of WWE. I really, truly believe that. I think this Bloodline story really elevated the product to somewhere that it's never going to go again. And once it's gone, it's going to take a little dip. And we have to be okay with that. Don't judge the product so harshly when they're gone. Judge it for that, they've elevated the game in terms of the contracts, the globalization, and the exposure. Because, again, the Bloodline really carried this company for the last 3 years. You're going to miss them when they're gone.
Agree. We out.